and welcome back to the Citizen channel. We're all staying safe and well, and our player ratings and talking point show about City 3, RB Leipzig 2 on the 28th of November 2023. Of course, match day 5, Group G. Yes, we've clinched the title, haven't we? We've clinched the group anyway, that's for sure. But yes, how can we sum this one up, really? Crap first half, okay, second half. Well, should we leave it there? Well, we'll talk a little bit about what happened anyway. On and off the pitch, yeah, it was awful. I had about 6 empty seats next to me where I'm standing in the singing section. The fact we tried, a few dozen of us probably tried to get things going, and at times it was okay-ish. Some of the ground, the south stand was trying to get things going, and others were joining in. But atmosphere-wise, it wasn't. I thought Liverpool was probably better, which says it all, really, doesn't it? So we'll have a chat anyway. Well, I'm not going to say too much about that. After the wonderful Belly and Summerby tribute before the match, it was a bit of a damp squib for certainly the first 45 minutes. Anyway, we'll talk about. Please, if you're new to the channel, push that subscribe button, push the bell notifications, everything. City past and present, of course, lots of stuff coming up this week with the Spurs game on the horizon. I'll tell you about that later. Stick with me, guys. And if you can give us a thumbs up for this, give us a like, it's much appreciated. Leave us your comments, leave us your thoughts on the game. Probably take you 1 or 2 words, won't it? So there you go, we'll leave it at that. Right, Pepsi 11, 4 changes to the Liverpool game. I got 7 right, I was happy with that. 2 of the guys I didn't have playing, didn't play anyway, on the basis of what we saw. But yeah, I got 7, I'll go with that. I say I was happy with 5 or 6 in fairness. I just didn't know what Pep was going to do. He went reasonably strong, of course. Ortega, Walker, Akanji, Diaz, Gvardiol, Rodrigo, Lewis, Bernardo, Foden, Grealish and Haaland. On the bench we had Ederson, Carson, Phillips, Stones, Aki, Doku, Alvarez, Gomez and Bob. I mean, if Phillips isn't going to start in these games, I mean, he's going to start presumably at Red Star in the final game of the group, but the sooner he goes the better for him, I think. The better for everyone concerned. Match report, 13 minutes, we were 1-0 down. Akanji was awful, outmanoeuvred by a Openda. I wouldn't even say he got beat by him. He was just outmanoeuvred by him. Not even Sunday League stuff. I would have rollicked one of my defenders if he'd done that. Shocking. And of course, it was an assist from the keeper. So yeah, but all credit to Openda. He took it on, and Ortega no chance. He didn't get no chance of getting to that one. Far too easy though from Akanji. That was awful. 15 minutes, Diaz has a chance to bring us level, and we had 2 or 3 cracking chances in that first half, but heads over when really he should have hit the target. 21 minutes, Diaz was booked for a high boot. He had one of those nights. People are saying on social media since he's met his new Doris, he's been a bit off at times, and I think I'd have to agree. 30 minutes, Lewis cleverly moves himself into space in the box and then does a woeful blast over the bar. I mean, he had all the goal to aim at. Shock, all right, we're not going to criticise Lewis too much, but come on, basics. Football basics, guys. 33 minutes, yes, we paid the penalty. We were 2-0 down. Diaz, I don't know what the hell he was doing, I'm sure, and right in front of Pep as well. No wonder he got dragged off at half time. He got hooked. Just dived in. Just again, not even Sunday League standard. Again, I would have been totally flummoxed with the defender who did that. It was just shocking. Allowed Openda to get away. Of course, Gvardiol was there. I think it was Gvardiol. Was there to sort of cover, but Openda just took him just a little nudge to one side in the box, and he had a free shot, and Ortega again, no chance. But 2-0 at half time. I'll be honest with you, it didn't bother me. It didn't bother me. Not that I thought we'd get beat. I didn't bother because I thought, well, we'll get a draw out of this at least. Just because they were awful, and it was only our finishing, and obviously we're not going to play as bad as that in the second half, and we didn't. We weren't brilliant, but we were good enough to beat a very poor. This was a poor team. Don't quibble about this. This wasn't a great team, Red Bull Leipzig team we played at all. 46 minutes, of course, Aki came on for Diaz, and we looked far stronger at the back. 54 minutes, Doku for Grealish, we look far stronger on the wing. Alvarez for Walker, we look far stronger, full stop. 54 minutes, it was 2-1 almost immediately after the substitutions. I think was Alvarez involved, I'm not sure anyway, but Foden, superb. At least Foden came alive. I thought he was totally average like everybody else, or poor the first half, but a nice little shimmy and touch to find Haaland, who gets in behind, and a great finish by Haaland. He picks his spot. And of course, he's the quickest now in Champions League history to 40 goals. I think he's took him 35 to get to 40 goals, so that's pretty impressive. 70 minutes, it's 2-2. Yeah, Guardiola puts it into Foden's stride. He controls brilliantly again. Just that little touch you can take that just fools defenders in that little tight space, and he finishes it smartly. And of course, job done on 87 minutes when Doku combines with Foden, who finds Alvarez, and Alvarez does what he does. He takes his time. He doesn't panic. He just looks for his spot and puts it in his spot, and calmly does that. I think they had a goal disallowed for offside. I think that was at 3-2, wasn't it? I don't think it was 2-2. I can't remember. I've got nothing on the minute on that one. I remember it, but it wasn't on the match report I read. So how far offside he was, I don't know. But anyway, it didn't matter, did it? The 6 minutes added time became 7 minutes, but no real problems. The table as it stands, of course, we win the group. City played 5, 15 points. Leipzig played 5, 9 points. Young Boys played 5, 4 points. And Red Star played 5, just the 1 point. That's where we go next, of course, for our last game. Match stats: shots 14 from City, 6 on target, 5 from them, 3 on target. Possession 71%, passes 797 to 326. Pass accuracy 93% for City. I think that's the highest I've seen this season. 85 for them, but that just backs up how rubbish they were, in fairness. Fouls 10 by us, 11 by them. 1 yellow card, a silly one from Diaz. No, 1 offside for us, 4 for them. 6 corners for us, 7 for them. XG philosophy, yeah, fair enough. 1.96 for us and 0.48 for them. So we'll take 5 out of 5. Hopefully this is, with the Chelsea, with the Liverpool draws, this is our bad run for the season. And that the end of that first half is one of those turning points. A bit like the old days in the late 90s when a tackle in a game against Stoke City and a victory against Stoke City turned the season into a run-in, didn't it? Turned it round. Hopefully this will be the turning point, and it's onwards and upwards. And these players who did have poor games, we're going to talk about them in a minute with Simon Bajkowski with the ratings. You'll get the kick up the bum they need, and we'll progress from there. So let's do that, guys. Let's do the Manchester Evening News ratings with Simon Bajkowski. I'll give you my little comments as and when necessary, or I'll just agree with Simon. I do sometimes. I know it's a bit of a shock, but I do. Ortega couldn't do anything, said Simon, with the goals and dealt well with everything else that came his way. Well, not a lot came his way apart from that. So I can't disagree with Simon. He's given the basic 6. I've given a 6 as well. Walker, one of his poorest games of the season, caught out by Leipzig attackers speeding past him. Absolutely agree. Simon, give him a 5. He was awful. Fortunately, he's not had many awful games this season, so we'll let him off with this one, but I give him 5 as well. Akanji started well, but went completely to sleep for the first goal, was regularly given problems at the back. As I say, I agree again. I don't like agreeing with Simon too much, but I do. Not sure. It just looked like a big and slow lumbering about the pitch sometimes. Just looked like a defensive Rodri when he's not on form, which was probably again last night. He didn't have a great game, but Simon's given him a 5. I'd have to agree with the 5. Diaz, 45 minutes shocker that started with the yellow for a high foot. Saw him get absolutely skinned for the second goal and then flirt with the second booking before being hooked off. Yeah, he just dived in. It's just schoolboy errors. Simon's given him a 3. 3. I've not gone that bad, but I'll give him a 4. 4 out of 10. He needs to find some consistency. He was excellent against Liverpool, I thought. But as I say, whether this new relationship, it does affect us, guys. I mean, whether we like it or not, things do affect it psychologically, physically. So we'll see. He'll be all right. He's a great player. Class is permanent, as they say. So we'll see. Gvardiol got caught in the general malaise in the first half. He certainly did, but never stopped running and popped up with assist for Foden. Yeah, I thought he was one of our better players in the first half. As I say, he did what he could. Simon's given him a 6. I give him a 6. He certainly wasn't the worst. Rodri, Simon says, strangely poor, sluggish and wasteful in possession and looking like the game was played around him. Yeah, well, it does have games like that, but usually against decent teams, not against rubbishy teams like this where they can usually grab it by the scruff of the neck. Sort of slightly better second half, I thought, but Simon's given him a 5. Yeah, I'll give him a 5.5. Yeah, I'd have to agree by his standards. That was a bit of a shocker. Lewis missed a good chance at Simon to score in the first half and struggled to stay involved in the action. Yeah, a lot of people said he played better the second half. So Simon's given me 6. That's probably why. Of course, it's up the other end to me, and I've not looked back at his time on the ball, etc. But it was poor the first half, and that miss was shocking. I mean, I know he's not a natural goal scorer, but you got to be hitting the target from there. He created so much room in the box for himself to get a shot in. Just had the goalie to beat, really. Just had corners to aim for and skied it. Awful. I'd give him a 5.5. I don't often give Lewis a low mark, but if he deserves it, I'll give it him. Simon give him a 6. Foden came alive in the second half, thankfully, supplying Ireland before taking responsibility to score the equaliser and setting up a winner. Well, it was deflected, the winner, wasn't it? So, he's given him a 9. I'm not going to go that because he had it again, a pretty bang average first half, so he did improve afterwards. I watched his little cameo, someone puts highlights up of someone's game. It was okay, second half. First half it was not too bad, but I gave him a 7 last night. I'm going to stick with 7 before I saw this cameo. As I said, good goal. I give him the 7 for the goal, and he played well. I'll tell you what. I'm going to roll to that because, as I say, I did watch that cameo after I did this. So I'm going to give him a 7.5, which still isn't fantastic. There, I've altered it now. So the record stands 7.5. Simon, give him a 9. It wasn't worth a 9, I don't think. Bernardo back on the right for the first time in a while and was quiet, unable to have much influence on the game. Yeah, I thought, again, another bad game, a rarity for Bernardo. Of course it is. Simon's given him a 6. I think he's been generous. I've just given him a 5.5. Absolutely no real effects on the game for me last night. Grealish, Simon said, not enough attacking in the box with too much play sideways and backwards on his return from illness. It's one of those games you've got to take chances against a poor team. And he must have been told, he's obviously under orders from Pep, but surely games like this, he can take it a little bit more by the scruff of the neck and do something. And the fact Doku came on just showed him up for what an awful game he was having. Simon gave him a 5. Yeah, I mean, I think we've been generous. I've given him a 5. We've probably been generous, really. Ireland, another game where he made a lot of runs behind and wasn't found. Could have done better with a few chances, but got his goal. Yeah, I mean, I think he was a little bit frustrated. Perhaps not his best game, but hey, come on, look what was going on behind him for most of that match. But he G'd up the team. He was getting the players going, which something Walker didn't seem to bother to do, even though we weren't playing very, very well. He's the captain, for God's sake, do something. Simon's giving him a 7. Say a cracking goal. I'm going to give him a 7 as well, and well done on another record broken. Although 40 goals, is it really a record? I mean, when he gets to 50 in the quickest time of the Champions League, that's a record, isn't it? Substitutes, Aki for Diaz, instantly brought more calm, said Simon. Authority to the game, putting his stamp on the game. Yeah, Aki all day long for me. He's had the odd poorish game, but Mr. Consistency, and put him at the back. And of course, they weren't as obvious. In the second half, they eased off a little bit. They were 2-0 up, but they didn't want to take too many chances. But Simon's given him a 7. I've given him a 6.5. I'm not going to go give him a 7 for a reasonable halves display. Doku for Grealish on 54 minutes. Dribbles still weren't in proportion to goal threat. Yeah, I'd have to agree, but he brought something that Grealish didn't. There's no quibbles from me there, Simon. Simon's given him a 7. I'll give him a 6.5. I agree with that. I say perhaps a couple of those dribbles he could have played it better, as in finding someone or shooting, but it was a revelation after Jack, wasn't it? Alvarez for Walker on 54, settled into the middle behind Haaland and will take confidence from his first goal in a while. Yeah, quite, he needed that. I thought he was dropped in it a little bit against Liverpool after the trip back from South America and struggled a bit, but he needed that last night. So he's got a 7 from Simon, and because he did score a goal, I'm going to give him a 7 as well, even though he's only on for about half an hour, about 45 minutes with the injury time. So a 7 from me and a 7 from Simon. Gomez came on for Gavardio 90. I think he risked a shot that hit Roll's head as well, didn't he? Man of the match, City gave it Foden. I wouldn't pick anyone in the first half. Do you have a man of the match? I'll have a man of the second half, shall I? I'll have a man of the second half. I'd have to agree with Foden, but that's it. No man of the match for me. It'd have to be a man of the second half. So there you go, guys. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your ratings. Let me know who you thought perhaps did better than I thought, or Simon thought, and vice versa. Who did worse? I know some of you probably give a few 1 out of 10s last night. I know what you like. So let me know. Great to hear your comments, and please join me very soon. Keep those buttons pressed, keep that notification pressed, so you know when a little Spurs special, obviously Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We've got the Premier League here, so I'll have a look at the very first meeting between us and other things to do with the Premier League, of course. Our Pepsi 11, our regular match preview for the game. And of course, my continuing tribute that will go on until at least, well, I'll say at least at the moment, it's got to be the final one. Everton on the 27th of December. My It's a Fix special, my little tribute to King of the Kippax that I'm doing, which is their It's a Fix feature on the Spurs game. So there's three vlogs to come out, plus lots of bits and pieces that'll be there. And as games come quick and fast, I'll have to sneak some of these other vlogs out onto some of these history vlogs. I've got a new idea for one. Belly and Summerby. What about the others? So that I'll look at some of the lesser known names as well. So that'll be one of my features over the coming months and years. So stay tuned for that one. Until we meet again, that's one thing, don't I? Please stay safe, Blues. Come on, City.